Hello and welcome back, episode 9, Granny. Episode 9 indeed.
Woohoo!
Oh no, we were thinking about. Sorry,
I'm impressed too, Octo.
Why?
Well, because it took you 9 episodes to remember to press record.
Oh no, look at that go! Look how important I am. I was about to say we were going to name this episode 8.1 and just continue that way, but
Yes,
I think episode 9 probably makes it sound like more important, especially when it comes to sponsorship deals that we're not getting.
yes. Where are those donuts?
We've got a bit of a special guest today, Granny.
We have.
Yeah, it's not John the Reseller either. It's Uncle Wayno, everyone's favorite uncle apparently. How are you, Wayno?
Oh, good, thanks. You should have just called every episode 8 from the start.
Yeah. Just confuse people.
Yeah.
Not important enough. 8 episodes. Yeah. But what's new, Wayno? I haven't seen you forever, mate.
Oh, yeah.
It's 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a good 15 minutes. Not much. Thanks for having me on. It's weird being on the other end of it for a change.
I know. I can kick you out any time.
Yeah. I know we're not live at the moment, but you've been doing the other lives, and it's good not having to look at the chat.
Yeah.
I don't have to keep up with the chat when you guys do the lives. I find that if I ever watch one of my lives back, which I don't usually do anymore, I used to, I find that I miss literally half the conversations because I'm reading the chat.
Yeah. That's what's kind of worrying me about this live stream I'm doing tonight, which will be fun. Interesting.
That's right.
For the first time.
4 days ago. So yeah, obviously we'll see how you go when this lands.
Well, it will have been 4 days ago, so we will know how it went. Yes.
All right. If it's just you, then you can keep up with the conversation. But like when you're live and you got 3 other people talking, and then you're reading the chat, like I can't pay attention to someone who's talking while I'm reading, so I just drown out.
Well,
it's a definite skill.
I was about to say, it all makes it all the more complicated when your eyes are painted on, Wayno. So I've got no sympathy for you, mate.
No, how you do it.
So when are you coming back, Wayno? You're pretty reliable by the looks of your YouTube history. You back this week, or?
I think so, which will be 2 days ago.
Back to the future.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure Blake's going to come on. Yeah, I tried to do it last week, but my back was just cooked. So I just decided to give it another week. So I think we'll do it this week, and then the movie show will be on Monday as well, hopefully.
I don't think a lot of people realise how much work and effort you put into the live shows, Wayno. Like, trying to secure guests and all the other things that go behind the scenes. It's not as easy as people think.
No, it is. It's pretty. I mean, it's just a bit of organising. I mean, it's not really that hard, but getting guests is probably the hardest thing. Not so much. I don't know. Even with my regulars, like I don't want to sound like I'm bagging them or anything, but because they're all busy people, like super busy people. So it's hard to get everyone involved. Get a lot of knockbacks. Are you available Sunday? No, I'm not, but I can do this week or whatever. So it's just a bit of organising. So, and as we know, I'm not very good at that. So,
Granny and I are finding out firsthand, right? Because we're running the accountability live on a Thursday, and even just because primarily it's Granny and I, and whoever wants to pop in from the chat perspective. There's a lot of moving parts you don't think of, like from being on the receiving end. So every time that you invite me on, Wayno, it's just a case of I just click a couple of buttons, rock up for a show for an hour and go away, and there's nothing further than that. But I think a lot of people don't appreciate how much work and effort a lot of the YouTubers put into lives. So
one of the big things is keeping the conversation going.
So that's right.
And having something to talk about and trying to keep it so that you're not repeating yourself every week. There's not when you're doing a reselling show, everything's been talked to death already. So finding a way to keep it sort of fresh, and even if you're having those same conversations, keep them fresh. That's probably the hardest bit.
Crikey, you're scaring me even more and more about what I'm doing tonight then. What am I going to do?
Well, you're a bit insane, Leanne, so you might be all right just to ramble like a mad woman like you normally do.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at talking. I guess I can just keep talking to myself.
Is that any different to what we normally do this podcast?
No.
I'd like to sum up like a talk ratio just to see who talks more, you or me, Leanne.
Oh, I reckon you're winning on that score.
I reckon I would be too. That's what I'm saying. Well, maybe we need someone to do it for us. But
So, Wayno, I've been doing some cuts and making some little shortcuts out of some of our podcasts. And when I first started doing it, there's a program called Opus, and you can actually put a longer video in, and it will actually, it's an AI thing, and it will work out where the good conversation is and all that sort of stuff. And nearly every one of them was coming back with my head, but him talking, because it didn't recognize him as a human being.
I'm not a human.
It would only it would just have me on the screen, but Octo's voice talking.
That's right.
That's
well, like a lot of people don't realize that this is just pre-recorded. Like I'm not actually here; just Leanne's talking to herself, and I'm just doing it over the top because
that's right.
All I do is I just don't move my tentacles around too much because I obviously don't want to. It's kind of like speed. They're just there we go.
Because I am really the octopus.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. It's always who's the octopus of the week. Blake was octopus of the week last week, and Leanne's the octopus this week.
I am.
But
but it took me a while when I was doing the cuts, Wayno, because I didn't even think, because you're cutting in on each person as they're talking to make it like the smaller for a short or whatever. And it took me a while, and I'm sitting there one day and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why am I bothering going and cutting each individual one of Octo? Because I could just use the same video for him for each one.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to start moving my arms around erratically so as you can't use the same footage. Anything to annoy Granny. Anything to annoy Granny. So we had our American YouTuber on last week, Mary, 365 Vintage Hunter. So she was basically released into the wild. We let her go, and she she was quite nice, and we quite enjoyed her, and Blake as well. So we're mixing it up this week. We're having an Australian established reseller on, so a YouTube superstar, if do say so ourselves. So for those people that that are probably watching from further afield, Wayno, tell us a little bit about yourself, mate. And don't say I'm a reseller. I've already had that answer.
It's weird. I usually ask people this question. Excuse me. Well, I'm a reseller. I've been doing it for full time for a few years, but pretty much on and off for like over 20. And I mainly sell media and stuff like that, and that's about it. I just sort of like to live. I do it a bit differently to most people. I don't go full steam ahead. I like to just have a lot of downtime and have naps during the day. I don't have any dependents or anything. Well, I got a dog, but apart from that, I don't have any kids or anything, or any gold digging women hanging around. So I don't need to make a lot of money to live. So it's pretty sweet.
So you've only got one mouth to feed, but I've seen what Nelson eats. He eats pot plants and metal and John Cena dolls, so I don't think you have to feed him too much.
And to be fair, I probably eat for two anyway, even though I'm
So and you said you enjoy selling media. Is that something you fell into, or is it something you had a preference for, or just supply or quantity, or?
No, it's just something I know. Like, always loved movies. Worked in a video store when I was younger. Always had a video collection like VHS, and then DVDs, then Blu-rays. So it's just something I know a lot about. And then, I go into an op shop and I see. I mean, I was sort of off and on buying bulk lots off people, and then just selling off most of it and keeping whatever I wanted. And then, so I never did this for like full time. Or if I saw something like a bulk lot that I thought was a really good deal, I'd buy it, and it would sit in the corner for months. And then if I needed money, I'd just upload them all to eBay. I don't know where I was really going with that. But
So you've always sold on eBay when you've been reselling? Is that mostly where you sell? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I did markets for a while and stuff.
They're hard work. Markets are hard work.
Yeah, well, that's why I stopped it, because my health wasn't great, so it was pretty hard to do it. So, yeah, you can make a bit of money out of markets if you do it properly. And I find that most sellers at markets don't do it properly. So that you do it properly, you end up coming home with most people that attended there's money. We used to get other sellers giving me daggers at the market, because our store would have just people gathered around it everywhere, and everyone else would, they're trying to sell their old car parts and shit for stupid high prices, and tools and stuff for stupid high prices. And I've got like knickknacks and DVDs and all this sort of random stuff for $1 each. And I come home with $1,200 selling dollar items. And these guys pack all their shit back up into their car and go home with nothing.
Well, I've heard that you could probably make a little bit of money from the gas station as well if you do it right. And apparently you wear a balaclava. Is that right, Granny? Is that yes?
Go and hit the servo.
That's right. Do you think that the markets, like where you said, your pricing structure at the markets being $1 a piece and all those different things, do you reckon, like we chatted a bit earlier about your eBay and your coupon usage and all those different things, do you think that selling at the markets has helped you transition across to the online part, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I've always sold online, really, since way back in the day. But things were way different back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Back then, I was also importing. For a while there, I was importing DVDs from America in about the mid 2000s. Stuff you couldn't get here. They're like $2 or $3, like brand new $2 or $3 DVDs in America, and they weren't available here. So I was getting, some of them were going for like $80. Stupid money. So that was really it died out after a fair bit, because after about a year, because more and more people just started catching on, that you could do it. Back then, a lot of people didn't have as much access to the international market. It wasn't as easy to buy from websites and stuff overseas, so they had to pay through the nose to get, people were sending money orders and shit. They didn't even have paper. So so they're happy to pay me $30 for this movie that they've wanted for years, and that I paid $3 for, like from overseas. But I actually made too much money, so I had to stop.
He had to start up his drug empire to cover his laundering his money.
It was nuts. That was like an absolute dream. And back then everything was auctions as well. So some stuff was like, new release movies would come out in America. When I say new release, I mean they'd be old movies, but they'd be the first time on DVD kind of thing. And so it's a movie people have been wanting for years and years and years. I'd pay $5 or $6 or $7 US for it, and be selling it for $80 or $90 because it'd be an auction, and people would just go nuts. That's right. So,
it's funny, isn't it, how things cycle around though? Because everything was auction on eBay and stuff back then, and then it's sort of gone right away from the auctions. But now with the whatnot starting up in America and that sort of thing, it's really brought the idea of doing auctions back again, hasn't it? And you've got isn't it Poshmark's doing lives here now, where you can sell live, do live auctions online?
I don't know anything about Poshmark. I don't know a lot about whatnot, but I think it is different though, because everything's changed now. We live in a really impatient society.
Yes, we do.
It's all, TikTok 15-second videos. People won't watch any further than that. And people just want to get it now. Back then, it was about 10% of items were on eBay were buy it now, and all the rest were listed as auctions. And now it's completely And I think with whatnot, it's different because it's still instant. like
Yes.
you know the auction's happening right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you see it.
That's-
So
Yeah.
I think it's more auctions can still be used for really rare stuff or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, for the most part, they don't really use much anymore on
Well,
eBay.
it's kind of like too much of a risk these days, isn't it? Like, if you've got something that is valuable and you think you're going to put it up as an auction, unless you know you've got the audience that's going to come and buy it, it's a bit risky.
And that's what I was going to talk about as well, Leanne, is that, like what Wayno was saying with the instant gratification kind of thing, is that, waiting 7 days for an auction, just say hypothetically it goes to $500. But by the time it rolls around, that probably I'd like to see the data on the back end, but I find that maybe 6 out of every 10 auctions that I was running previously, they wouldn't pay. It'd be like a non-paying buyer. So then, I've wasted that 7 or 10 day period. So I think, and this is what we touched on last week a little bit as well. I do think Whatnot will probably come to Australia in the next 12 months. And I do think it's probably good, if you're an early adopter, like, if you learn the system now and all those different things, because I think that's like Wayne was saying with the TikTok, mentality of that 15 seconds, because the way that I've watched Whatnot, auctions, that they have like a sudden death thing. So basically you can have a 30-second timer on it, then the highest bid wins. So I think that, in the next 12 to 18 months, eBay will probably take a bit of a hit in Australia from Whatnot or whatever they roll out from over here. So that's something we probably want to look at going forward as well. But yeah.
Do you think also, oh gosh, where was I going with that? Old people's problems.
I was about to say, you taking your medicine today?
Well, I'll say.
Well, no, they've been a bit slow in coming around and bringing it to me today. That's the problem.
The auctions. Like I haven't watched any of the Whatnot auctions, but what you're just saying, like they have a 30-second timer. It doesn't give people a chance to think. So that's why it works, because people, I've just got to do it, or otherwise I'll miss out. I don't want to miss out, and like that's why when you go to auctions in person, that's why the auctioneers speak the way they do. Like it's to create chaos. It's a feeling of chaos, and oh shit, I've got to keep doing this, until I get it.
Which does let me now, I remember what I was going to say. So do you think also with eBay, with the auction style that they've got, the reason it's probably also not as successful now is because, like, what you do is you go in and you put in the highest amount of money you're willing to pay, and then you don't have to do any more other than just watch, because your bids are there and it'll just keep increasing. Like it'll tell you can start at like $1. So if the previous person's bid $1, you bid $1.05, but you tell it that you're going to bid up to 30, it will just automatically do the bid. So there's no interaction anymore. Whereas back in the old day, you had to keep going back. You might get a notification on your computer to say someone else had put a bid in. You would then have to physically go and put the bid in.
No, it was like that back in the day.
Was it?
Yeah, it was back like that. But yeah, and Wayne could probably attest, because I used to run auctions back in the day, because I used to sell arcade boards. So basically the game component of the arcade machine, right? And it was the same thing that, back then, and this is my theory, you didn't have streaming services, you didn't have Netflix, you only had like free-to-air TV and Foxtel, which is like cable for those overseas. So it was almost like an event when the auction was closing, that you'd have your people in like your niche group would come in and say, all right, this particular item's closing at 8 o'clock, and you'd have your audience there. But now, like Wayne was saying earlier, is that short attention span, they put their $20 bid in, and they've got no attachment to the item. They don't care, because they've got something else that can distract them. So they're not going back, anxiously waiting on, because sniping was a big thing back in the early 2000s. You think you're winning it, and in the last 2 seconds it shot up $300. It was good from a seller's perspective, but like the excitement's not there anymore. And what Wayne was saying is that chaos is what Whatnot brings, from what I've seen. And you kind of, and the difference between Whatnot and eBay is that Whatnot takes the money straight out of your account, so they won't actually let you bid without without putting a placeholder on that money. So once that 30 seconds is up, if you change your mind or otherwise, you're still stuck with that item. So it's up to the seller to say, yes, I will cancel it, or too bad, so sad that you've got the item. Where, like what I was saying earlier, is eBay, you put a bid on like today, the item doesn't finish for 7 days. You probably don't care about it. That excitement or that attachment to that item probably wanes over that period. And that's why I think, eBay's, from that auction perspective, is eventually going to disappear or just die off completely.
Well, they tried quite a few years ago now. Like eBay pushed for buy it now all those years ago. They really wanted that. They were the ones that sort of moved towards buy it now because they want people to buy straight away, then go and buy something else. They don't want to wait a week for their fees to come in either. So they pushed for it to mainly go towards buy it now, and they were going to completely get rid of auctions, but there was a big backlash, and they must have decided to keep. I didn't really follow it. Whatever. So it's like when they were at one stage they were going to get rid of all payment options except for PayPal. Well, after eBay bought PayPal, they were going to make it so that PayPal was the only way you could pay, and then there was a big backlash towards that, and they didn't make the changes in the end.
Yeah.
So to say, it's crazy how history repeats itself. But I do think that eBay probably needs a competitor in the Australian market. I know, we spoke with Blake and we spoke with Mary last week regarding Poshmark and Depop and all those different things, but they're pretty much non-existent in Australia from our perspective. We sell a bit of secondhand clothes, as do you, Granny, and Wayno probably sells a little bit as well. As that, I've never listed on Depop and I've never listed on Poshmark. So and I know that. No, it's just that, like I said, that I think Whatnot will probably shake up eBay. I'd be quite curious to see how it's received. It really needs to come in swinging to kind of, grab any market share because, if it's not cool and it's not hip, it's not going to take off.
Yeah.
So,
and to be honest, those other platforms too. Like I went and had a look at Poshmark and Depop to see if I could snipe a few things that I was looking for that I could resell on eBay, but. When I went in there, yes, I could have, but you can't see, look, I was looking at jeans, for example, and 90% of the photos, you couldn't see the hems on the jeans. Now, I am not going to buy a pair of Levi 501s if I can't see whether they've been hemmed or not. And they don't have the measurements in there, and the information's so scanty. I think a lot of people that have been on eBay and seen the information and photos they get when they're going to prospectively buy something, and then they go to those other platforms and look at that, you would just come away and go, oh geez, I'm not buying off there.
Yeah, that's right. So it's probably like that marketing perspective, like it or lump it, like eBay really doesn't do that much advertising. Well, not that I've seen. That I don't really watch a lot of commercial TV, so I don't know if there's any ads running, but likewise for Poshmark, that we don't really see any advertisement or pop-ups for that when surfing the web or all those different things anyway. So, but the landscape in 5 years is going to be completely different to what it is now. Like Wayno was saying that 10 years ago it was completely different than it is now, and I think we're in a more rapidly changing environment now. So what we achieved in 10 years is probably going to be obsolete in 5 years. So I think that as a reseller, you're going to need to constantly be evolving, or you're going to get left behind.
And speaking of advertising on TV, I discovered last night where a lot of our increases in our Australia Post money's gone. Have you seen their latest advertisement? They've got this flashy, they've got this flashy dashy. It played all the way through like primetime TV, like The Voice and The Block and all that sort of stuff. Over and over and over again it appeared, and I thought, well, that wasn't a low budget advertisement, was it?
So what was it about?
So it's about basically the history of Australia Post. So it starts off with a bloke standing with his old fashioned in the 1800s and the mailman bringing it, and then some bloke dragging the post through the water with his horse, and then a girl, a lady on a motorbike in the 40s, delivering the mail during the war years. And then it shows a flash of someone flying to the outback with the big green bags of mail that they would have taken there. And then flash forward to the big red van, flash new Australia Post man and the nice Australia Post driver getting out of the van and walking up and hand delivering the parcel to the family living in the house.
So what you're saying is that they just threw it out the window and left a person's not home card, or it's on the phone now.
That's probably more likely what was going to happen. But
Yeah, no, that's right.
and,
Yeah, they have to
and
cancel that.
yeah, it was all Australia Post. We've always delivered, and we will keep delivering, or something along
We
those
lost your
lines.
volume, Leah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's pretty. That's pretty.
back?
I think it's pretty clear why they've done that ad.
Oh, so I lost my volume.
Maybe
I
it's
have
you.
to work out what's going on. I can't hear
I
either of you.
Oh, your batteries have probably gone flat in your hearing aids.
Yeah.
What a classic.
Completely lost my computer. Oh, hang on. We lost it.
Oh, he's lost
this is why we
control.
can't have nice things.
How's that $6 million man thing go? It's breaking up. It's breaking up. It's breaking up. He's lost control.
This has happened to me before. It's really annoying. Happened to me on the movie show a couple of times, and everyone, and then when you watch it back, everyone's normal, but you're just sitting there going, "What's going on?"
Because it hadn't. My internet went bad during.
There we go. I'm back now.
Must have been. I don't know whether it was the live stream or the podcast recording last week at one point, and so it went a bit. I froze on the screen. So then I was being silly, and I go, I pulled the funny face like, and thinking I was being funny, but then it froze again. So here's me on the screen like that for ages. And I actually, because I didn't know, but when he upgraded the StreamYard thing, I thought Octo actually might have had a button where he could press it and freeze me. I thought he'd frozen me.
I know. I got blamed for that. I got screened out for days for that. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think my computer just had a bit of a spaz attack then. I have no idea what was going on. Lost all the connection and all those different things, but that's all right. Like, you'd see me fumbling around for a minute and a half. Yeah. If you got this far in, congratulations.
It might be a bit like you. It's overheating.
Well, it could be that. Well, that's exactly right. Yeah,
Needs a spritz.
Yeah, well, that's right. Maybe that's the problem. It's had too much of a spritz of hot salt water. But now that we're 30 minutes into the podcast, I suppose I better ask you what's new with you this week, Granny?
Well,
before you do, I just want to say about that Australia Post advertisement. That, like, I haven't seen it, but from how you described it, that's clearly aimed at trying to get people to feel sentimental about Australia Post because of Sendle.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because why else would they do it? Like,
yep.
Australia Post used to be really the only way you could send mail. Like, and now Sendle's there, so they must be seeing a lot of more people go to Sendle. And like, if to make an ad like that, they're clearly trying to tug at people's heartstrings. And
100%. And then you've also got eBay using this stupid new hubbed system of sending things as well.
Well, that's exactly right. Like, yeah, and I think it even probably extends past, Sendle, sorry. Like yesterday, I had something delivered from Amazon through Aramax or something along the lines of that. So I think a lot of the companies are going, they're going through FedEx, they're going through Aramax, and they're going through all the, Toll and all these different things. So, obviously, they're losing a bit of the market share. And they're like when I said, they're tugging on the heartstrings whilst increasing the postage, $2 or $3 a piece. So.
Yeah. So my new exciting news this week is, and I didn't get time to put it up on the wall, but next week on the wall right here is going to be my new world map that I've got.
I thought it was going to be your toupee.
No, don't wear a toupee. You can't put rollers in a toupee. Yeah, so I got my world map, which is so that when I send parcels overseas, it's a scratch off map too. So you scratch rather than putting a pin in it, you scratch off the areas you want to show. So I'll be able to scratch off the countries when I send a parcel over there. Yeah, so I'm just going to interject here, Wayno. Wayno. Granny's very entrepreneurial. So basically she'll probably try and market these as a Grumpy Granny's world map for something, all these different things. So give it 2 weeks and she'll be trying to flog these off as a Grumpy Granny idea centric, all those different things. So what do you think, boys and girls? Good idea.
It's fair to say she doesn't mind a bit of self-promotion.
Hey, if she wants to, make millions and millions of dollars flogging off, stuff that she's got from the $2 shop, go for gold, Granny.
Hey, listen, when you're as old as I am, you've just got to make the most of your time that you've got left on this earth.
That's exactly right. Yeah, like we've been in a couple of lives for our US counterparts, the YouTubers over in the States, and Grumpy Granny's been taking the opportunity to promote herself, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah, so
I
we probably try to steal a couple of them.
Yes. So I have a 95% guarantee from the Philly Flipper that he is going to come on our podcast.
Oh, cool.
I kept annoying him all through his live stream.
Oh, that's right. The poor guy probably doesn't know who we are, but he's coming.
Yep.
He's coming on.
He probably just said yes to shut you up.
Well, I kept getting it. I've got it. It's in writing, on the site in the chat that he, I went from like 50% and then kept 5% times up and up and up and up.
That's right. Yep. It was probably hoping that you expire before you called him on it.
Probably. Yes.
So I don't know. I suppose that you do all the pestering, but I got to do the hard work behind the scenes and organise for this person to come on now. So
I just get them to agree, and then you do the organising.
Well, you kind of annoy them into submission. That's what I think. That
hey, whatever works, I say.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, we're quite curious to see if he follows through, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, and hopefully I don't have to do any more damage control.
Yeah, I hear there might be a few American podcaster reseller YouTubers that are a bit, surprised that you actually wear that all throughout the entire thing. And I said,
I'm a real octopus.
He's real. He's not wearing a costume. He's real.
That's right. That's exactly right. I don't know why they just can't get it through their heads. So I'm a real octopus. Oh well, maybe they don't have like 8-foot octopuses over there doing YouTube channels.
Well, possibly not.
No, that's what it is. But other than annoying American YouTubers and guilting them to come onto our show at some stage, what else has been happening?
Oh, just eBay up and down as usual. One day you get a great day, and then the next day it tanks, and then up again and down again, and on and on and on.
What was that to say? You
selling
should make a video
lots of jeans.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good. You should make a video about that. Do a clickbait title, because that just seems to be flavour of the month at the moment with all the YouTubers.
Absolutely. I think my best clickbait title of recent times has been, "Is this the end of eBay?" And it worked.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what about you, Wayno? How's your week been? Has eBay been kind as it has to Granny?
It's been all right. I mean, I haven't been listening a lot lately, so as a lot of people know. But I don't know. Things still sort of just trickle along for me. It's all right. So, I mean, I have ways of, like I sold similar, like 3/4 of my store over the space of a few days. Maybe that was about a month ago now. So
you should have waited.
I was lying on the couch because my back was stuffed, so I couldn't have listings. So that's just what I did over a few days, and then.
And I suppose you didn't know the 30% off was coming up.
No, and then so things have just been trickling along. I did like 100. I did just over 100 listings like about a week ago, so that just sort of keeps me going. I'm not one of those list 20 every day people. I don't think it makes a difference to the algorithm when you upload your items. It's just as long as you're sort of consistent, like, because you need to once you've sold something, it's gone, so you need to replace it. I don't think the algorithm actually cares if you list every day or not.
No. And like Granny and I were talking a couple of weeks ago, Wayno, is that my other store is a complete niche store, which I restock, I suppose, for lack of a better term, once a week, and that punches out $400, $500 worth of sales a day. The profit margins on those sales are quite slim because it's a replenishable store, but that's not it's not I suppose listed every day. So I think there's truth in that. If you're active in some capacity, you're still going to make sales. It's just, and it comes down to the quality of your items, right? Like if you're going to just buy really crap from garbage and list it, it's never going to sell, regardless. And likewise, if you've got if you're selling iPhones, they're going to fly out the door regardless of how quickly you put them up. So.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff I sell is slow moving items. Like it's CDs that not everyone's looking to go out, rush out and get, but you might just need that one person. And if you've got enough of them listed, you're getting that one person 10 times a day.
That's right.
So yeah, it's so I sell a lot of stuff that's been listed for ages, like months. It's just whenever that person randomly finds it. So
that's exactly right. Like you said, and that CD was probably the most colourfulest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was, wasn't it?
I think I had an epileptic fit because he was moving it. We'll have to put a trigger warning on the video.
Yosh. Well, yeah, I guess that's where my store, in a way, works well, in that 50% is books, which are like your CDs, like, it's just a matter of the right person coming along at the right time. Sometimes that happens within 24 hours, but often not, because most of my books are vintage. But then the clothing side of things, and the denim in particular, keeps things moving along, quickly.
Yeah.
There's plenty of DVDs that I list that are going to sell pretty quick, as well. Right. But yeah, I list all the sort of the lower sell through rates. A lot of that stuff I list as well, because people would eventually come along and buy it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't take up a lot of space. I wouldn't do it with I'm not doing that with VHS anymore.
Yeah.
It just takes up too much space. The VHS is sort of tanked anyway. So
they have, haven't they? Really have.
I was going to ask you about that because I've noticed that VHS and a lot of the YouTubers aren't spruiking grading VHS anymore on the YouTube platform. So
grading, I don't understand.
No,
you would grade, like, every VHS collector I know watches them. They buy them to watch them. Like, there's some they would definitely buy, and never get around to watch. Like, I do that with the Blu-rays. You buy so many, you can't watch them all. Like, you don't have enough time. But yeah, any VHS collector I know, they buy them and watch them. So
yes,
I don't understand buying sealed ones and grading them. Another reason I don't understand that is because a videotape degrades over time. So does cassette tape. Eventually they're going to be no good, sealed or not.
100%. But I'm going to say I reckon it's probably been 8 weeks or so since I've sold a VHS, which I was selling them every few days. But it's really.
I just think it because I'd be quite curious to see if Wayno probably has got a better idea of the market from that perspective. But I wonder if it's kind of speculation from a reseller perspective, where they see YouTubers spruiking VHS and how much money they're getting off them, that it's other resellers kind of like using it as a investment to move it on to someone else, and kind of the market eventually tanks because it kind of came out of nowhere. There was no it wasn't as if they brought out a new VHS player or something along the lines of that. So
I think it's the case with a lot of collector areas or genres or groups, whatever you want to call it, since, because they all boomed in COVID, because the people are home had nothing better to do. And basketball cards, I was sort of in on that for a while. They're the same. They've tanked heaps, but there's other reasons why they've tanked. Panini have absolutely flooded the market with cards.
I think I say the Matildas.
It's just, I don't know, VHS. It's tanked there. I've talked to a few collectors, and they're like, it's a $5 tape, and you got to pay $10 shipping. Like, it's that hurts it a lot. Talking to Brandon, the media picker, last week, and he was talking about how they have media mail over there, and it's like, it'd be nice if like that here, and we could send the VHS for like $4 or something. That'd really help collectors and sellers. But
that's right. And I suppose from a collector's perspective is that you've got a VHS that I want, but then Granny's got a VHS that I want, but you both don't have both VHSs, so then you have to fork out 2 lots of postage and all these different things, because it's a dead medium, right? It's not as if you can get out a JB Hi-Fi or Walmart or wherever it is and pick up 20 copies of the same thing and resell it from that perspective. So, but
don't get me wrong, I've sold 10 in the last few weeks, maybe.
That's good.
If you've got the right ones, they can sell. The thing is, I gave away 4,000. I just said I've sold 10 weeks, but I also gave away 4,000 of them because they weren't listing. So
no, that's right.
If you got the right ones, you can still sell them. They're not selling for as much as they used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, some are still worth listing. But I wouldn't be going out of my way to get a bulk lot again in a hurry.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a bulk lot full of horror of 80s,
Well,
70s.
well, that's like I don't know, Leanne knew, but like Wayno last year, and I was telling him where I picked up, what was it, about 1,000 VHS Wayno, and I think out of that 1,000, I think it was about 40 or 50 that I listed. And it was like they were all horror, but like I said, like Wayno was saying, is that 95% of it's trash.
Yeah.
So out of that 4,000, you probably listed 100 or something like that. So that's
yeah. I mean, it's even more than that now. It'd be 99% at least would be trash. So.
Well, yeah, so my would be my second last lot of VHS that I sold was I sold Home Alone 1, 2, and 3 as a set and sent it to Q8.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah,
Macaulay Culkin's over there now, is he?
Must be. Must be.
Yeah, I probably sell. It's probably the one category where more go overseas than not for me. So even though it's not, I don't sell heaps of them, but when I do, they usually go. Probably 3/4 of them go overseas.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I suppose now that we're at the 480-hour minute mark, we better get on to this week's topic, Leanne.
We haven't even started talking about the topic.
No, that's right. All these people be like dying of old age before we actually get to what we're talking about this week. So we're actually talking about QA. Quality assurance. There we go. I need the spritzing again, Leanne. My brain.
Watch out.
That's right.
Suddenly we're getting put on the spot, Wayno, because the topic's changed.
That's right. Quality assurance. What do we think about it? No. Q4. So basically, we're going to just have a bit of a conversation regarding make sure that you're ready for Q4. So Q4, for those that don't know, that's September to December every year. So it's normally,
Is it not October till December?
It's what I roll with, Leanne. So Q4 is whenever I say it is. How the system works. So basically, all right, Leanne's technically correct, right? Like, we're not that anyone's keeping score, but it is October to December. But you will find an uptake in sales probably starting September. So I'd like to say Q4 starts in September, regardless if that's correct or not. But yeah, that ties in with the Christmas season, right? So you will find an uptake of seasons. What a lot of people do is they get to about the October, November mark and they start panicking. And, they're like, I'm not ready for Q4. And, they start selling at an elevated rate and all these different things, but they don't have the supply chains or the stock in I suppose, in tow. Much as I hate death piles, but basically it's probably the best period of the year to have a death pile and get it all listed, all those different things. So do you have any tips and tricks for Q4, Leanne, before I dribble into what I was going to talk about?
Well, I guess my main thing would be to make sure you've got your postage supplies right, because that's probably the biggest thing for me. Because this time last year, like hadn't been doing it for all that long, so I wasn't buying as much of the my padded envelopes and stuff like that in bulk like I do now. So it was sort of a bit of a rush to hurry up and get down the post office and make sure that I could get enough, because I was selling at that elevated rate. So I would just say make sure, and just simple things like if you use packing tape, if you use, the cardboard boxes, say, to send your baseball caps in, your envelopes, whether they're your vinyl ones or padded mailers or cardboard envelopes, whatever you're using, make sure that you have got enough on hand, and your tape and your thank you cards and all those things, and have it all ready, because I'll be doing a big print off of thank you cards in the next couple of weeks to make sure I've got plenty of those.
Yeah. And what about you, Wayno? You've been selling for 15, 20 years, mate. Do you find that you do anything differently around Q4, or you just...
Not really. I just like floating around doing my own thing like I usually do. I mean, obviously there's some things, but I'm listing when I can or when I want to, So I'm not a 9 to 5, or a resellers are more than a 9 to 5 usually, full timers, but I'm not like that. So I just list when I want to or when I can, and do as much as I can in those times. So I don't really go out of my way to do any extra or anything like that to prepare for it. I don't find that my sales change a lot, probably because of what I sell. I feel like DVD buyers, I haven't had a decent, it's a bit of a side note, I haven't had a decent DVD lot for a fair while now, and my DVDs in my store have gone way down, like the amount I've got. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot more CDs and stuff like that. But yeah, I find with DVDs and stuff, they just sell year round anyway. Like the only people that buys used DVDs are the people that want them themselves. Like people don't buy used DVDs for presents for Christmas.
No, they're buying them for to watch, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So I tend to find that my sales don't change that much. I actually find that I usually get a bit more after Christmas because people get money for presents and stuff like that. But yeah, as for, I do a bit in December. I slow down in December. I try to slow down to avoid the nuffies that think they can buy something on the 23rd of December and get it by Christmas. So yeah, I tend to stop listing like a week or 2 weeks into December, and then I don't really list until January again. But and then obviously I still do my postage and all that sort of stuff. But or if I get a really quick gaming deal or something, I might chuck it up. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing sort of I do for Q4. I don't really prepare for it. I'm the worst person to have on it.
I was just going through my head that this was the right person to have on to talk about Q4. Yeah.
No, so this is the alternative motive for the Octopus, because the Octopus is playing 4D chess, right? So when I watch a lot of YouTube content regarding Q4, it's like pretty much what Granny and I was talking about. You have everything, pretty much like pardon my French, you shit in the sock, right? So basically have everything squared away, all those different things. Yeah. But not every reseller works in that or has that aspirations to be like that, right? So not everyone wants to work at 150%, but Wayno, from a different perspective, where he might say, hey, look, I'm just slacking off on all those different things, is that, but he represents that different dynamic of a retailer, right? So basically saying, hey, look, I don't need to stress myself at this time of the period, or I'm selling things that fall outside that traditional Q4 demographic where all those different things. Because like you're saying, I suppose it works for the used clothing sellers as well, is that who's buying used clothing to give us gifts? Like unless it's like Wayno would probably allude to as well, is if it's like a really limited edition DVD that there's only 20 made of, and the only way you're going to get this thing, if it is secondhand, you'll probably get that as a gift. But like I said, that not everyone falls into that holy shit, it's Q4, we need to get all these things squared away, because that'd be, I suppose, a disservice to the reselling community. But it's good to have that contrast of view, because a lot of the YouTube content that I watch is like, it's almost the end of the world if you don't have your stuff sorted for Q4. But it's good. Like, Wayno just lists when he feels like it.
I mean, if I was selling brand new sets of Lego, Q4 would be the thing on the planet for me.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But like it's not really, and I'm not, and I do like to be a little bit, I don't know, devil's advocate's not the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, I do like to preach that a little bit, that you don't have to be like all the other YouTubers, like all the YouTubers that you watch. It's like I'm good friends with a lot of them, and but we do things way differently, and it works for both. Like, I make plenty of money too. Like, if I needed to work more, I would. Like, so, but I don't need to. So, and I've come from a bad place with my mental health, and my whole reasoning for only listing whenever I want to and only doing what I want to do is basically just to remain happy. Like, I don't want to work 60 hours a week listing on eBay.
But I suppose Because this is what Grady and I pretty much started this podcast for, right, mate? Like, we're trying to get as much as an accurate representation of the reselling landscape. We're not just trying to make it all, sunshine and roses. You have to work 80 hours a week and earn, $500,000 a year to be classed as successful. If you're content with saying, hey, look, I'm happy to list, 100 items a week, 1 week a month, and that's, enough to, make me enough money to be happy. So be it. Like, who's anyone to judge in that system, I suppose.
But isn't that the absolute beauty of eBay, though, that you can do what you want to do to live the lifestyle you want to do and have eBay work for you to work around your lifestyle?
Well, everyone has a different like a lot of the resellers that watch the YouTubers are part-timers. They actually have jobs, so it's not relevant to them to, like, a lot of the full-time stuff that you see isn't as relevant. Like, you can see, like, the way I do things, you could actually probably work the amount of hours I work in a weekend, like, and make the same money. Like, you just sort of got to learn it all and do it. But I really admire the people that go hard and work their asses off. Like, I really do. Like a couple of our good friends, Jada and Brad and Jazz, they work their asses off and they make good money, like, doing it. Like, it's just not me. But I actually really admire it, and they actually do give me motivation as well. Like, when I see their stuff. So but I mean, it's one thing that I preach to people all the time is, you don't have to do everything the way YouTubers tell you or recommend you to do it, and that goes for everything. Like, just work out what works for you, and you can take bits from each people and try them and see what's best for you. Like, I think that's because you do see a lot. Like, I don't look at Facebook anymore, but I used to see a lot of, like, people putting in the Facebook group, I've been following what the YouTubers say. Like, I take my photos, I remove the background, I do this, I do that, and I'm not making any sales. It's like, well, there's something wrong. Maybe you shouldn't remove the background from your photos, because some things are better. Like, not everything works for every category or everyone's interests. So
well, that's exactly. I don't know, Wayno and I think Leanne and I have already spoken about this before as well. Is that sometimes YouTubers is almost like a make believe or a fairy tale. I suppose they're only really showing you the best part of the different things, all those different things. Is that and we are going to talk about this in a future topic, part time versus full time, but I'd be very cautious, and you'd be taking it with a grain of salt with what a YouTuber tells you. That they don't know everything back to front. There's a lot of moving parts in this business, and you can't just upheave your life just to on the back of a fairy tale, or someone's making this, and because you don't know for something, a video that may run for 15 minutes may have taken them 4 or 5 days to just do that video, and like a lot of people say that YouTubers. That they get most of their content off, the subscribers and the viewers are posted to these different things. We're not going to lie. There are probably YouTubers that primarily focus on the YouTube aspect and do reselling on the side, and vice versa. But like I said, you really, really watch the different demographic of YouTubers and engage with the community at different levels as well. Like before you make any decisions.
Well, you see the comments from people, the YouTubers get so lucky they find so much good stuff. Well, that's because we don't show the videos where we found nothing.
Exactly.
I've scrapped probably more videos than I've made because I didn't find anything that day or whatever. It is a bit. You do have to take it with a grain of salt. It's an 8-minute video, and I was out for the whole day. And I went to 20 different shops or something. Like. It's not just as simple as just walking in and I found $300 worth of stuff, and I went. It's a lot of effort to do that sort of thing. And yeah, it can be a bit misleading. Like I try to show the days where I don't find much. If I don't find anything, I'm not going to make a video.
No, well, there's no point, is there, really?
No,
But if I find some all right stuff, I'll still make the video and be like, not all days are tits and frothies, as Jada would say.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, it's if you look at it from an entertainment perspective, right? Like if you're watching it, no difference to like porn stars or storage wars and all those different things, and like digest it in line with that, I think you'd probably be better lot suited because. A lot of people become romanticized about, the reselling and they think it's easy and all these different things. And, Q4 is something that probably one of the topics I wanted to pick up today as well is that, people see, like especially around the Q4 period, the YouTubers and all these different things. And it's not just YouTubers everywhere, okay? Like news articles and all these different things about how much money people make, reselling and, Lego's worth more than gold and all these different things. These people jump on the get rich quick bandwagon. 2 months later, they're bankrupt and have to liquidate all their stock because they don't know how hard it was. So, they really need to look from a different perspective.
And that's one of the.
I could make a video. Someone could make a news article about me selling old DVDs, old useless DVDs that people throw out. And look, I made $300 from this one DVD sale. Well, someone could do that, but I worked in I'm 43 in a few days' time. I worked in a video store since I was 15, like from 15 to like 21 or something. I've always collected DVDs, always collected Blu-rays. I've always had a massive interest in movies. I know a lot about movies. Like there's a lot of knowledge that goes into it. It's not, I don't just walk in. You can't just, a random person who knows nothing about movies can't just walk into an op shop and look up every single DVD that's in every single op shop. It wouldn't be possible.
No. And if you don't, and you bring home the cheap ones, which I did at the start, you finish up with a pile of them out in a box in your living room because they were useless. And that's probably my other point that I want to make too, is that you'll hear a lot of talk about listing more and listing more during this period to keep up with the, with things. And that's fine if you've got good quality stuff to list. Go ahead if you've got the time and you can make the effort and you've got the stock, do it. But don't list for the sake of listing and list crap.
Yeah.
Because you won't do your store any good and, you'll be whinging because you've listed all this stuff and you've had no sales. Because if you're listing crap to start with, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to sell.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that complain, and that's the reality. It's like, well, the reality is your stuff's not good enough. If you're doing all these things, you need to learn your products a bit better or something. It sounds really harsh, but it's like, you're just not good at it enough at it yet. Like you need to learn more.
Well, that's right. And it all
good way to learn just by listing stuff too. So.
And it all comes down to market conditions as well, right? Like you were saying earlier, VHS, they were hot at one stage. You could pretty much, purchase, I'm not going to say any VHS, but you command a decent price. But like you said, that that knowledge or that that place in the market where they were commanding a top dollar, they probably, my VHS store, I'm running a 50% off sale at the moment, and I still can't move VHS at that. So, like I said, it doesn't also come down to, like you said, to knowledge, knowing which DVDs, VHS are selling or, DVDs are selling. But if the market or, expendable income starts drying up, regardless of how good the item is, it's not going to sell.
Whereas, if you're keeping an eye on trends, like, for example, with jeans at the moment, flares and wide leg jeans are just, flying out the store, and plus denim skirts are. So, but that won't last.
No, that's right.
Because soon enough it won't be trendy to wear the flared leg jeans, and soon enough the weather will warm up. We'll get past summer and the weather will start cooling down, and people won't want to buy the denim skirts or denim shorts. It's keeping an eye on the market.
It's all cyclic, isn't it? Especially with clothing. So, but that's just something you need to be aware of. That it's not as easy as it's romanticized to be. So. Don't dig yourself in a hole deeper than you need to be.
No, exactly. Don't go out and buy a whole heap of random SHIT to list thinking you're going to make all this money because it's Q4, because if you buy a whole heap of random shit, I will say, it's not going to happen. Grumpy Granny said.
Yeah, but I suppose Q4 is the best time to get rid of that crap as well.
But don't expect the big dollars for it.
No, that's right. It's you still need to be realistic, and need to look at market conditions and environmental factors. Obviously with all monetary policies and all those different things. So just be mindful of what you're buying before you're buying it. So, but I suppose if there's one takeaway, if you are a reseller like Wayno or a reseller like Lee and myself, is have your postage supplies handy. Make sure that, because there are shortages in the market, because the bubble wrap might run out, or the boxes might run out, and all those different things where a bit of a time delay. So that's something to do with that. But I don't know, what else do you got ready? Any other closing things for Q4?
Oh, not really. I think we've sort of covered the main things about it, but you just want people to be a bit wary about it and not think that it's all going to be, fairy tales and fluffy dogs and rainbows. Really? Yeah, but like Q4, if you're very smart, you can make a lot of money in Q4. There's no doubt about that. It's just like what I said, that you need the knowledge base. You need to start doing the research, and you can't wait till the 1st of October to go, hey, look, I'm going to start moving into the DVD market because this YouTuber is selling heaps of DVDs. I'm going to make $1 million. It's too late. You're way too behind the 8 ball. But like I said, that the basis of this episode was pretty much just to get you into that headspace of saying, hey, look, Q4 officially starts in October, but you really need to be starting now, if not before, really to get your mindset into, how you're going to set your business up, or how you're going to set your structure, your Q4. Like Wayno, is one spectrum of a reseller, where, a different spectrum of the reseller as well. So regardless of where you fall in the reselling community, you probably need some sort of, structural plan that with how you're going to, tackle the Q4 season.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the nursing home's actually allowed me an extra little storage room to put my so that I can get some more things into my store. So how about that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So don't go buy a storage, or don't go renting a storage shed now, because you probably find it'll be more expensive. So don't go out and buy two crates of bloody Funko Pops that put in a shipping container into a storage shed, because you'll be paying through the nose.
Yes.
But I think that's it for us for another week, Granny.
Very good.
Yeah. So
very good.
Oh, Wayno's gone. He's lost his microphone.
Okay. Well, see, I was envisaging that there was something coming out the other end, but anyway. That's might have farted.
So, like I said, these eyes are painted on, so I really can't get any visual cues other than just seeing something flash on the screen. But thank you, Uncle Wayno, for coming on. So Uncle Wayno's World. I'll put your details in the description, and we'll try and push over maybe one or two people that we have still watching across to your channel.
Hopefully, if a few of my people who watch my channel here, make sure you sub to these guys, because they're doing this every week, and they're doing live every week as well. And it's heaps of fun. And if you really like the community, like getting involved in the community, definitely get around these two.
Thank you.
So give them a sub.
Your check's in the mail, Wayno.
And don't forget that, because for every sub over 250, Octo is going to donate $1 to backpacks for Vic kids.
That's right. Yeah. So that's Chris Furlong's charity. So basically, like we say it every week, but
it's not his personal charity, but it's a charity he's supporting.
He's supporting.
Yes.
He's supporting children with backpacks.
You're watching this and you sub to the Octopus's channel, you just donated $1 to backpacks.
You did.
That's right. And if we fall below 250, I'm going to go after those little kids and ask for my $1 that they owe me. But that's sort of like we're going to keep spruiking, this charity until the end of September, because that's pretty much when Chris is, wrapping up his perspective. 10 grand tally, I think he's looking at. But it is a worthwhile charity that they basically are helping the kids in very shitty situations, lack of a better term. But Yeah, and look, we are supporting it from our perspective as well. So if you can like, subscribe, and if you find someone else that might like this kind of content, just tell them to subscribe, and it's supporting that charity, so it's good.
100%.
Hey, look, if nothing else, we do attempt to keep you entertained while you can have us playing in the background. You don't have to be watching us. You can be just listening to us while you're listing or taking photos or lounging on the couch. Not probably while you're watching a movie, though, because it might disrupt your movie. But
hey, we don't care. As long as it's running in the background, we're still getting paid regardless.
That's right.
We're getting the watch hours, so you don't have to listen to us. Just have us playing.
Just put us on mute and keep it playing. Yep.
That's right. That's exactly right. But thank you everyone again for another week. We will see you next Thursday at 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time for accountability hour.
Yes.
So by all means, pop in and tell us what you want to achieve for that week, and we'll hold you to account.
And before that, you will get to see this.
That's right. That's exactly right. Any parting phrases, Wayno?
No, come watch my movie. Come and join the 3 people that watch our movie channel live every week.
So
3 people and an octopus.
Yeah.
Do you know what the first movie is going to be, or do we have to wait to hear it from Jeff's choice?
No, it's my choice. We were going to do my choice last week, but I couldn't do it. But back was sore. So when this airs, it would have already aired last night.
Right. Yes. But yes.
So it's Goodfellas.
We'll spruik each other.
Right. Okay.
We're going to be talking about Goodfellas and doing top 5. Scorsese is my favorite director.
So Requiem for a Film is the name of Wayno's channel, and I do watch when I can, and very entertaining, I must say. Way of reviewing films.
Adzi makes
it was a lot more entertaining when I was the only single moderator in the thing. But we'll put
we won't talk about that with the power that went to your head.
That's right. Look how big my head is.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of room for power in there.
Yeah.
But we'll put the Wayno's movie channel and his normal reselling YouTube channel in the description as well. So feel free to go check those out, because it's really good content. Wayno, runs a pretty good show on a Sunday night. A lot of people, jump in, and it's a kind of weekly down. Like everyone kind of winds down.
We don't go deep. We don't go deep at all. It's basically we try to make it like as if just 4 friends were sitting around and talking. And they're like, "Oh, remember this bit? How funny was this bit? Or how was this bit?" Like it's not anything deep or substantial.
I don't know. The Barbie review was pretty deep.
And we'll link the Barbie channel, the movie review in there as well.
Yeah, that one's well worth watching.
Don't do that.
You might get some. You don't know.
I will tell you that for absolute 100% certain, Granny's honesty, that 99% of the movie reviews are not like the Barbie one. But it was fun to watch, let me tell you.
Right. But anyway, before we go off of any more tangents, we'll say goodbye for another week.
There he goes, waving the tentacle.
That's exactly right. It's one way of getting the whips ready. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.